everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, or this week, I thought I would attempt to film my first ever reading vlog. I watch so many of these on YouTube. I'm literally watching one of Jess Primrose's reading vlogs currently, and I just love them. I love watching people's reactions to books and kind of hearing, you know, there's a spider on the window. Oh, I'm fine. And just hearing people's spoiler-free thoughts and feelings as they're reading through the book, it helps me kind of add to my TBR list of books I want to read. So I thought I would give it a go, and I'm excited. I actually started a new book yesterday morning on my commute into work. I started The Names by Florence Knapp, and I think I read about 70 pages yesterday. I normally read more than that on my commute, but I was feeling very overstimulated for some reason. I was trying to read, but the trains were really busy because the rest of the week there's a tube strike, and I think because the train was so busy and people were just doing lots of things really loudly, I couldn't concentrate on the book. And because it's a new book, I really wanted to take in what I was reading, and it's kind of split into three different almost like three different stories. So like chapter 1 is linked to one thing, and then it won't return to that until chapter 4. So like you really have to concentrate and be taking it in, especially I feel at the start, and I was really struggling. So I didn't read as much because I was having to reread a lot, and I ended up putting the book away in the end because I couldn't take it in. But anyway, it is now Tuesday, and I think on my lunch break I'm gonna try and read for maybe like half an hour. So I'll set us up on the tripod and we'll have a little bit of a cozy lunchtime read together. Before I get into anything, I'm gonna have my lunch, which is cheesy pasta with some meats. This was like the most hungover meal. Not hungover, I just needed some carbs before I go for a run this evening. Because we have now reached the point where you can go for a run in the evening and not feel terrified. So that's exciting. Although I am much more of a morning runner, but it's good to practice all times of day. So today's run is an evening one. Lunch has been consumed and it is time to get back into The Names by Florence Knapp. So like I said earlier, it's from a few different, kind of following three different paths of the same story, I guess. So basically the concept of this book is a couple naming their baby boy. The father wants the baby to be named after him because he is named after his father, and he's kind of like, this is a generational thing, like I want to carry on my family name, whereas the wife doesn't want to call the baby that. And there's three different name options, and it follows the story of what would happen if they named their baby each name. So that's kind of the three storylines that you're following, so it's kind of split into three paths. I am on page 75. So I've probably got 15 minutes left of my break to be able to have a little read, so let's stop yapping and get right into it.
So something I will say is that this is definitely a book that you need to concentrate a lot when reading, because like I said, it's following those 3 different kind of storylines, but also each chapter is kind of not always necessarily from the same person's point of view. So it's just taken me a minute or 2 to get into the swing of, oh, this is who I'm reading, if that makes any sense at all. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm reading this person's point of view now. It's not the clearest. I would definitely say make sure that you're in a, you know, the space to concentrate when reading this. That's my first little tip. But also another thing, there's definitely a trigger warning to be had with this book around domestic violence. So if that's something you don't want to read about, if that's something that's triggering for you, then maybe avoid this book. I'm on page 82 now. I think I'm gonna finish these 2 pages that I'm on and then head back up to work.
Hello again, it is actually the next day. I did do a little bit of reading last night, but I actually went for a 7-kilometre run after work and I felt really good. I felt it went really well. I then had a bath. I was so tired and I read a few pages in bed and I fell asleep reading my book, and I woke up and I was like, that's never happened before. So yeah, there was no other clips of me reading because I was asleep. But I just wanted to stop to like pop on, I guess, and say I'm not sure if this book is what I thought it would be, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's more just maybe I've misinterpreted what the book was about, because my understanding was like this book is basically what would their life be like if they were given a different name, and how does that affect the path of their life. But I mean, I'm only 100 pages in, but my understanding is more like it's definitely more a focus of the results and repercussions of domestic violence, maybe. That's hard to tell at this point in the book, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Like, I don't think the things that are happening, I guess they are kind of linked to the name, but I feel like it's more linked to the parents' relationship. I'm trying to explain it without spoilers, but yeah, that's kind of my understanding. So if you haven't read the book and you are going into it thinking the same as I was thinking, I feel like it's a slightly different story to what I thought. And that doesn't mean it's a bad story. I just think I misunderstood a bit. It is actually a few hours later now. I've just finished work and I have got maybe 30-40 minutes until Matt gets home, and I'd like to spend some time with him this evening, so I'm going to try and fit in 40 minutes of reading and see where we can get up to. I'd really like to finish this book before Saturday because I'm going to be lending it to my friend Freya. She really wants to read this and I'm seeing her on Saturday, so it'd be great if I could finish this to then lend it straight to her. So let's see if I can complete this book before Saturday. If I can do 40 minutes of reading now, that should probably get me to like a page 180-ish. And then I'm in London tomorrow, so I'll do at least 80 pages on my commute. 180 plus 80 is 260, and the book has 330 pages, so I reckon I can do that. I think. Can I? Not if I keep yapping. Let's get reading.
It's a few days later now, but we are very, very close to the end of this book. I think I have got about 30 pages left. So before we get to the end of it, I thought I could do a little check-in on how I'm feeling about the book currently. With 30 pages left, I know that there could still be something that obviously makes me feel like, whoa, that's changed it. Whoa, but like that's changed everything. I've been thinking about it. If you are thinking of reading this book, I would recommend reading it when you have time to sit down and commit big amounts of time to it. I have been reading it over the week, so I think I started it on Tuesday. It's now Friday, and I know obviously it's quite a short time space, but I've been reading it in little bits and bobs, like a bit on my commute, a little bit on my lunch break for like 10 minutes. It's been very broken up. I think this is something that you want to read in like 1 or 2 sittings, or like 3 lots of 1 hour sittings. Like you want to be able to commit a long time to it, because it's quite confusing to follow. You're following 3 different stories across a timeline, but story 1 is chapter 1, and then it doesn't continue until chapter 4, and then that won't continue until chapter 7, and then chapter 10. So it's like split up like that, and then the second chapter story will be like chapter 2, chapter 5, you know, like that basically. And because I was reading it in bits, I've been getting really confused about what's going on, because I have to remember. By the time I got to chapter 4, I was like, oh, but what happened in chapter 1? That could be a me thing, that could be a me problem, and I hold my hands up to that. Maybe I've not been taking it in very well, maybe I'm not intelligent enough to take it in properly how I should. But that is just my advice. I think if you want to be able to get like the full experience of the story, that would be my recommendation. But I don't know, if you've read it before, let me know in the comments how you got on with that kind of structure of a book. It's the first time I've read a book with this kind of structure, and I don't know if it's very common structure, so maybe it's just new to me, but I found it really difficult. I am gonna go and read the end of this book, and I will feed back once I'm done with my final thoughts. I'm scared. I realised that I finished the book and I didn't film my thoughts at the end, so just popping on really to go through what I thought of the book. So it's an interesting one. I think I went into the book, I think I've already said this, but I went into the book with the wrong idea of what the book would be about, and I guess it is still kind of about how the blurb sells it, but there's a lot more to it than that I think is more the prominent theme, rather than it just being about what their names are. So where to begin? I have written a full review over on my Fable. I will link that down below, but in summary, I think what I put was, I said that I felt like I went into the book with the maybe wrong understanding of what it was really about. Thought it was going to be about following this person's life through 3 names, which it was, but I actually think that was more of a side point basically, and it was following different scenarios of whether you stay in a domestic violence relationship and how you navigate that, and also the impact that can have on your children or the children in the scenario. But aside from all of that, I actually just found it a really difficult book to follow.
I've just realised, I'm really sorry. That's my washing in the background. I just found it a really difficult book to follow. It's chapter 1 doesn't continue until chapter 4, and then chapter 4 doesn't continue till chapter 7. And because I was reading it in small chunks, like on the train on my commute, a 20-minute lunch break, like things like that, by the time I was getting to the second part of the first name's story, I couldn't remember what had happened in the first. So it just became really confusing, and I think that did affect my reading experience of this book. I don't think it was a bad book. I didn't hate the book, but I didn't feel the urge to pick it up because I was struggling to follow what was happening. There was also, this isn't a spoiler, one of the scenarios, the child has the same name as the dad. And when I was reading those ones, I was like, wait a minute, is this, when they're saying his name, are they talking about the child? Are they talking about the dad? Like, just little things that made it difficult for me to follow. Overall, basically, I gave it 3 stars because I liked the concept, I did enjoy parts of it, and I would recommend reading it. I think it's a really interesting book, but I couldn't rate it any higher than 3 stars because my personal reading experience wasn't great. And my recommendation would be, if you are going to read it, to commit big chunks of time to doing so. It's a bit more of it, you want to sit down and give it an hour at a time, almost, to read through it. So I hope that makes sense. I think on Fable, where it says like, how did this book make you feel, I think I put confused because, yeah, it's the first time I've kind of read a book with that many split up timelines, and I just struggled to follow it basically. But yeah, that's my thoughts and feelings. On that note, I am going to end this reading vlog here. I really hope you enjoyed it. This is actually the first reading vlog I've ever done, and I would love to know what you thought, if it's something you would want to see again. I feel like in future I would probably do it with a couple of books. I appreciate I've only done it with one in this, but like I said, I wasn't buzzing to pick it back up again, so I think that's why. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you've read this book and what you thought. If you did enjoy, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here. We'd love to have you, and I will see you next week for another video. Bye guys.